Hi, welcome to the Jon Gaunt podcast. So can we begin to think the unthinkable? Starmer is dead politically, I mean, and Nigel Farage will be the next Prime Minister of our great country. How do I know that? Well, look at this latest poll that's come out. Survation poll, 2,000 people. Basically, it's saying that Britain is broken beyond repair. 68% of people interviewed in that survey up in the northern towns in the so-called Red Wall will not vote Labour. Not only that, they say they won't vote Conservative. Nigel Farage is going to be the next Prime Minister, barring a major upset. Starmer is toast. So let's look at that. What do you think of the idea of Starmer being finished? Is he finished? His popularity now is about 11%, the lowest on record. He's got the Midas touch in reverse, as I keep saying. Everything he touches turns to you know what. And now he's in the same position again. He talks about migrants, but not about getting rid of them. There's a story today that he's trying to get back in the EU by the back door. I was talking about this yesterday. Yesterday in that podcast, by the way, thank you for making that so popular. I actually said Britain is broken. Well, now that's what all the headlines are saying. Can he pull it back? The Birmingham dustbin row, which is clearly politically motivated, because Labour government, Labour council, rats the size of cats, and Unite have really got their backs up now. They're saying, no, we're not going back for that deal. Angela Rayner went there to sort it out. She sent in the army. Well, no, she sent in 3 people, pen pushers, logistics people, when we actually need people on the ground. You know what we need, Keir? Boots on the ground. But no, you want to send them to Ukraine. Another reverse Midas idea. Nobody backs you on that ridiculous idea. Nigel Gordon just said, no, he's a dead man walking. He is, you're right. Which is why I've done my little montage today. I quite like it, actually. Got King Farage there sitting on the throne. Keir Starmer, you can't quite see in this picture, but he's kneeling. And let's face it, we'd rather him kneel to Farage than Black Lives Matter. And there's a picture of me laughing my duck off. It's over. It's over. You've completely messed it up. And well done, Keir Starmer. World record. 7, 8, 9 months of pure hell, and you are finished. The Red Wall have turned against you. I can't see any recovery unless you're hoping Ukraine's going to give you that, but I can't see that either. And let's ask the question, is Britain broken beyond repair? Nigel Farage, is he ready to lead? Or are you taking the view, well, he can't be much worse than the rest of them? Do you want an anti-establishment politician like Trump, like they've got in America? Is that how Farage is going to win? I think it is. And I don't know. I think if he brings on some of the right people, he'll make a damn good fist of it. There's some things I definitely disagree with him on. Privatising parts of the NHS. I was at the NHS today, had my annual sort of MOT, went perfectly. Thank you very much indeed. Ever since I was so seriously ill, once I got better, I've never felt better. The consultant, East European woman, as they all are, she said to me today, I don't know what you're doing, John, but keep on doing it. I don't either, but I'm really chuffed. I came out of there on cloud 9. Then I went and had a walk around Leamington Spa, see the old stomping grounds, and saw some old friends. I just had a great day. I'm in a great, great mood. And I'll be in an even better mood if we get rid of Starmer. But I think he's doing it himself. So my question is Britain broken? Do you agree with the Red Wall voters? Their answer is yes. And is Nigel Farage ready to take charge? Can you tell me now, please? Also, Why has Keir Starmer messed it up? I just mentioned a few things. And how is Reform UK got itself into a position where it's going to dominate not just the general election in a year or two's time, because it's not going to last 4 years, this, but the local elections? He's going to get a landslide, is Farage. He's only got, well, last time I counted, 4 MPs, including himself. But look how much influence he's got. Why? Well, I think it's because he's speaking the language of the people. People are saying the things that Farage is saying, or rather, he's saying what they're saying, and that will get him elected. This Farage populism is exactly like Trump. He's going over the head of mainstream media as well as talking to the mainstream. He's using the internet brilliantly. He's using his public meetings fantastically, and he's using his propaganda techniques on Facebook and indeed on Twitter in exactly the right way. How can somebody like Nigel Farage completely outmaneuver the big machines of the Conservatives and Labour? Well, I'll tell you why. Because they've both elected a dud. Right? Kemi will never be a leader while I've got a hole in my underpants, and nor will Starmer. Whereas Farage, love him or loathe him, he is a leader, and he does do what it says on the can. I think he's captured our anger, our frustration. We're fed up of the cost of living crisis. We're fed up of mass immigration. We're fed up of the collapse of the NHS, although today my treatment was perfect. It was on time. Everything about it was excellent, even though they're rebuilding the hospital at the moment. It was the same hospital that saved my life, Warwick Hospital. They're just outstanding. So now old sort of flat building, 1950s sort of style, but the work they do there is incredible. So NHS collapse and the betrayal by the establishment parties. That's why Farage is where he's at. Do you agree with me? I believe he's a shoo-in. I mean, I would now put a bet on. I would now put a bet on before the odds get too short. And I've also just got this bit of news flash in from GB News by Mark White. I used to work with him at Sky News. He's a brilliant journalist. He says a record number of small boat migrants are crossing the English Channel today, just days after the largest number this year made and he makes the point, the illegal journey. Provisional figures for GB News says around 700 migrants arrived in our waters today. They haven't actually got on land yet, but that's where they are. But that surpasses the previous one-day record of 656 illegal migrants who got in on Saturday. Now, when I call them illegal, that's not racist. That's just a statement of fact. They're not coming in the right way. They are illegal. And just a bit more on the stats there. That means the people who have made the journey, these are just the small boat migrants, this year is now at 9,000 plus. GB News, that's 40% higher than the 6,265 who had crossed the channel at this time last year. Smash the gangs my arse. He's done nothing. He couldn't smash an avocado to put it on his toast. He is useless. And so is Yvette Cooper. Useless. They couldn't crush a grape. They couldn't rip the arms off an action man. And they certainly couldn't tear a tissue. We need a hard case in there. Farage will do that job. That doesn't mean I think he's brilliant. I think he's the most brilliant political operator we've had in years. He's the only person who's achieved his objective. His objective was to get out of the EU. He spent his whole life doing it, and we got out. Although, to be honest, we're not really out, are we? It's the okie-dokie. We're halfway in and halfway out. However, when he comes to power as Prime Minister, we will be. He now needs to surround himself with talented people. If that means he poaches them from the other parties, get on with it. Do what Trump did. Trump took one of the leading Democrats, not just the leading Democrats in the Democratic Party, the leading Democrats in the world. Kennedy, the famous Kennedy family. He's got him in a cabinet. He's in charge of food and health. Exactly the kind of bloke we need in this country. Put party allegiance aside, put tribalism aside, and put our country first, because that's what the British people are demanding. We don't want any more hotels given over to illegal immigrants. We want them living in tents, and we want them dealt with quickly. Let's get a load more human rights lawyers and process them quickly. And today, again, Farage has mentioned the fact he's going to get out of the ECHR. And I now agree with him. I didn't really want to have to do this, but how else are we going to stop it? We can't have foreign powers telling us what to do. But what's Starmer doing? On the very day that Nigel starts pushing for that, Starmer's doing a backroom deal where they're going to have some say over our fishing, our health, the kind of meat we can eat. Because again, it's anti-Trump. It's all this chlorine, chicken nonsense that everyone's get wound up about. If you don't want to eat it, don't eat it. I won't be eating it, let me tell you. Just like I don't eat New Zealand lamb. Why don't you eat New Zealand lamb, Gaunty? Because it's all bloody halal. And I think that's cruel. And I just want to make this point so no one, again, accuses me of being anti-Muslim. You may as well call me anti-Jew as well, because I don't think we should have that kind of food in this country either, that kind of ritual slaughter. It's for the Dark Ages. We don't want it now. If you want to eat that, fine, but not in our country. We should never have legitimized kosher food in terms of slaughter and non-stun slaughter, or the Muslims. No way. It's completely wrong. And I noticed somebody on Facebook today said, oh, on Twitter or X, Jon Gaunt's the only person in the public eye, well, I don't know if I am anymore, but willing to say these things. Well, I'm willing to say it because I believe it. And if they want to put me in prison for it, here we go, then I'll be a political martyr for a halal chicken or a chlorinated chicken. Listen, all your salad that you buy in a bag, that's chlorinated. So what's your problem? What is your problem? Go and get it from your own garden. Grow your own like I've been doing. I've been growing my own, as you know, me seedlings. Got back here, and just behind me where the green screen is, Lisa's put a load more seedlings. They're trying to turn me into Percy Thrower. There's one for the oldies. Alan Titchmarsh, for ones who are slightly less old. Or maybe they're trying to turn me into Charlie. No, I haven't got a big enough bust. Anyway, you with me? You with me? Farage is going to do it. He now has to press home the advantage. Here's a quick message as well for Rupert Lowe and Ben Habib. Shut the F up. If you ruin the chances of Farage getting elected or ruin it in these local elections, you have effectively got political blood on your hands. I know you've had a tiff with him. He doesn't like you. You're out. Just accept it. Swallow. Move on, Mr. Lowe. You did some good things. You've said some good things, but you would never get elected with the manifesto you're putting forward. And Ben Habib, who the hell does he think he is? He's got the charisma of a brown paper used bag. That's what charisma he's got. Nigel Farage is our next leader. I'm backing him the whole way. Are you with me? I will criticize him on certain things, definitely. But let's have your opinion. Is Britain broken? I'm not sure it is completely, because when I was in the hospital today, everything was working. He's also talking about re-industrialising Britain. I'm coming to your comments in a moment. Keep them coming in. He wants to put up the tax rate, which is a brilliant idea. The tax-free allowance will be 20 grand, which means that the low paid won't be paying any tax at all. That's got to be in the move in the right direction. That'll get people back to work, and that'll get people thinking it's worth working. Let's get off benefits. Talking of which, I'm not even going to make 20 quid this week. So can you pull your finger out and start donating your coffees and your cold beers? It's cut-off day. Tuesday is always the cut-off day. And I think so far this week, this 7 days, we've raised 18 quid. That ain't enough to even pay the fees. So if you can help me out, it's always recognised. You get your name on the bottom of the agenda here. Please, of the screen, I mean, please help me out. Or donate via YouTube. They've got all those different methods as well. But if you want this to carry on every day, well, Monday to Thursday, plus the extras, I did 6 lists last week, and I think they were all brilliant. Certainly last night's was out of this world. But I'm saying he's going to be the next prime minister. The king, he was never the king, is dead. Long live the king. There he is, Nigel Farage, our next prime minister. Are you with me or against me? Let me have your opinions, please. The governor, Labour has done nothing to stop the migrants, costing the taxpayers £55 million a day. Correct. £6 million a day on hotels with squeezy soap. It's completely bonkers. It's completely unsustainable. Another 6,000 in today, 652 in today, they reckon at GB News. When's he going to get it sorted out? Nigel Gordon says, Starmer's a dead man walking. Thank you. The governor again, reform will pull out of the ECHR. Can't stop the illegals. The left-wing lawyers are making a fortune. You can't blame the lawyers. If the law's there, they're just using the law, which is perfectly legal. I know there are some who play the system all the time, but I'm afraid this all goes back to Tony Blair. He wanted to wash our faces in diversity, or rub our noses in diversity. Well, he was half right, because I think it... But Mandelson was also doing that. Mandelson is now the ambassador to America. Although it does look like there might be a trade deal coming off, but it won't be a great deal. You watch. Starmer has the Midas touch in reverse. Everything he touches turns to... It's not broken beyond repair, John, says Simon Hatt, but we seriously need a huge reset and the Great Repeal Act of all the damage that Blair did since 97. I'm glad you're realising that's how far it goes back. Nigel, every so many years we say time for change, but what the hell? Bring back Boris. No! Boris has had his day. I was a supporter, then I wasn't, then I was. He just changes his mind more times than he changes his underpants. He's not the leader we need. We need somebody steadfast, somebody who winds up the lefties. I mean, today, Farage, they hate him. There's some idiot made a comment about working in metal because he used to be in the stock market. So he said he understood, why people are worried up in Scunthorpe. Somebody says that's not the same as working in a steel plant. Well, of course it's not. So then I asked this jumped up jerk of a journalist, never heard of him myself, but I said, well, what have you ever done then? In fact, forget about steel. What proper job have you ever had? And like the rest of them who infest the BBC and the Guardian and the rest of them, they're very good at wearing open-toed sandals, eating tofu burgers. Let's go to Salonika and skinny dipping. Yeah, they're all very good at that and reading the Guardian and not being able to spell. But what they're not good at is actually ever having a proper job. I have had a proper job. I even had a proper job at the age of 63 when I was skint. Luckily, I'm not having to do it at the moment, but it reminded me of what most people are living through. And most people are involved in a living hell. We've got a so-called socialist government who will rip off pensioners, steal their winter fuel allowance, but still get theirs paid because they're MPs. We talked about this yesterday. They're self-serving pigs. Do you agree? If you do, why aren't you pushing the like button? Come on, push that like button. Retweet this. Tell other people that you listen to Gaunty. Oh, and I've got to say as well, we've been making those little short 30 seconds, 60-second videos. It's all done on AI. I'm going to have to meet this guy. He does loads of work for me for nothing. But old AI, he does this work where he puts them into these little things. I don't have to do anything. It's great because it just prompts the discussion. Where are we going next? Nigel says anyone but Labour. You're not going to get Labour. 656 at what is it? Over 50 grand a year each, says Simon. Yeah, that's what they estimate. Tom says they want them here. Yeah, Tom, I've come to that conclusion. The mainstream businesses, your mainstream political parties, they actually want the illegals. Some of them want them to be like the bogeymen, but they also want cheap labour. They want to suppress the wages of the working class of Britain. I've been saying this for 25 years. This is why I should still be on mainstream media, because I'm still willing to say it. I lost my job for telling the truth. Yeah? Other people just say whatever their boss tells them or whatever was on the front page of whichever paper their whole radio station or TV station's based on. They just echo. There's some notable exceptions, but not many. We don't have proper talk genre radio anymore. Evening John on YouTube, says Steve. Let's face it, the local elections are coming in May. The Labour red wall in the north is going to disappear. Well, this is what this polling by John Curtis, who is the guru of polling, is saying. It's going to disappear to the Reform Party. Labour over and out. Last man turn the light off. Cheers. Well, I can't wait for the BS to come out of Keir Starmer's mouth the day after the election, or it'll be about 2 days, won't it? The counting. But how's he going to defend how abysmally they're going to do? How can he defend it? Answer, he can't. However, there's no opposition. I mean, Kemi's trying, but she's like a sixth former, isn't she? I was going to say on speed, but more like on Mogadon. I wouldn't vote for her. I wouldn't vote for any of these lousy bastards. I just wouldn't vote for them. But Farage, I think we've got to give him a chance. I really do. My concern is the vote still being split by the Rupert Lowe fallout, says David Griffin on YouTube. No doubt Labour will get a bloody nose at the locals, but nothing will change. It'll just make the parties make adjustment for the next general election. That's already happening, Dave. Why do you think he's been so keen on doing this steel deal? The steel deal is wrong, right? I know this sounds awful to say, and I'm probably the only person saying it. He's doing it. It's too little, too late. Okay, they got the ore and they got the coke in today. I think they had too much coke beforehand, if I'm honest with you. Because why didn't they sort this out months ago? Not only them, why didn't the Conservatives sort it out when they were in power? Why did Mrs. Thatcher close down all our coal pits? We've still got all that coal. Why did we try and turn ourselves into a service-based economy? We had heavy industry. I said yesterday, we were the cradle of the Industrial Revolution, and the arseholes in Westminster on all sides sold us out, sold the working people of this country out. They did the same with the fisher folk, or the fishermen or women, whatever you want to call them, exactly the same. They've turned the RNLI into a taxi service for illegals. They hate our country. That's the only conclusion I can come to. So they're already making those adjustments, David, because they're trying to counter Farage. That's why Starmer went up to Scunthorpe and tried to act the big hero. It was Farage who went there last week or the week before last who pointed out something had to be done. Just like, and I'm sorry to say it, Sir Keir, it was Nigel Farage on a little boat in the Channel 2 or 3 years ago, just as GB News was starting up, who kept saying, look, there's another boat coming, there's another boat. And everyone called him a right-wing fascist, Hitler, and all the rest of it, a Nazi, just because he was pointing out people were breaking through our borders. And I saw a stunning statistic today, a stunning statistic. Do you know in America, on that southern border, where Trump's built his wall and put all his army and put the drones up, they're down to something like 7,000 illegals. It was hundreds of thousands. No one's getting in anymore. He's clamped down. Poof. Well, why can't we do that? And then we treat humanely the people who've already got here. We process them as quickly as possible. We employ or train a load of young kids out of university how to tick the boxes on the human rights form. We leave the ECHR, problem solved. But we also, at the same time, move them out of the hotels and the squeezy soap, and we put them in tents. Good enough for our boys, good enough for them, say I. If you disagree, tell me. So thank you, David. Good, very good comments. The problem with Farage is that he doesn't play well with us, and I feel it'll actually be his downfall. No, I don't think so, Simon. I think anybody who's in a reform and is fighting for Ben Habib, I mean, they're entitled to it, it's their opinion, but you're a nutcase. Because there's no way, what did he call his party? Insignificant, no, something like that, isn't it? Anyway, he ain't going to get any votes. And he's just going to take a few votes off reform. Same with Rupert Lowe. The time is right for the right, not the far right, the right of this country to join together, not to be breaking up. Now, of course, I don't include the Conservatives in that because they haven't been conservative since Mrs. Thatcher croaked it in the Ritz. And that's a fact. Are you going to sponsor me tonight? Anybody going to come through and get their name mentioned live on air by giving me a contribution on YouTube? Easy to do. I don't know how to do it, but it is easy to do, so I'm told. Could you do that? That'd be good. Or buy me a coffee or a nice cold beer. Oh, I was in Leamington today. By the way, Leamington's become a docile. My old mate Bangor used to be the bodyguard for loads of different people, including the Queen, but he was the bodyguard also for, what's his name, Chubby Brown. He used to always call it was Mayfair Securities, his company. Mayfair Securities of the Royal Leamington Spa. He passed away a few years ago. He'd be spinning in his grave at the docile that Leamington has become. Leamington, people sleeping in shop doorways. Well, in fact, they're all deserted banks they're sleeping in. Listen, I ain't against the homeless. I'm asking, why aren't the council doing something about it? Why aren't they doing something? Why don't they open up one of those banks and let them sleep inside? Why don't they get them to help refurbish it? Why don't they think imaginatively? But I can't believe I went to Leamington on Saturday as well to see my daughter at a new bar. It's turned into a right, and it used to be beautiful. It's almost making Coventry. No, I was going to say it almost made Coventry look glamorous, but it hasn't. Julian Uzel. I find it incredible that Labour and Tory MPs dare to insult our intelligence by asking us to vote for them. They're not just stupid, they're dangerous. Well said, Julian. Why? I'm sorry, I'm not. I normally put the things up on the screen. Yeah, I'll do it now. That didn't come up. There it is. There it is. All right, then. Thank you very much. Now I've lost my picture. What's next? I agree with you, John. Any other government, not Labour. Enid, Patricia, Mather. No, well, I don't want any other. The only people I want now is I want to give Nigel a chance. I want to give Nigel Farage a chance. Don't you? Hi, John. The difference for Farage and the others is that he oozes hope, enthusiasm, and optimism. He talks completely bloody common sense. Whether he'll be successful, only time will tell. That's Carl Eves, big fan of mine. Carl, you're right. And that's why I'm just saying, look, let's give him a chance. Got to give him a chance. We can't carry on with the uni party, can we? No, we can't. I'm sorry that it's blacking out when I put your names up. But you see if this one's work. I don't do halal. My pizzas are all seafood. Thank you, Sam. Right, I'm not going to put the comments up. For some reason, it's blanking out the screen. Get a money brain like Richard Branson to help the government, as Trump has got Musk on. That's not a bad idea. Although Branson, I'm not sure if he's the right money person, but I take your point. Thank you for your comment. Right, hang on a minute. What's going on here? What's going on here? The Tories are dead. They'll never be trusted again. People can take the risk as they will go against anything they promise. Labour are just wackos and are paying the price now. I like that, wackos. Ronnie Hurst. Ronnie. He says, I will vote for Farage. Thank you. Tony Hodgkinson on YouTube. I used to be for Farage, but now I'm not so sure of him. He seems part of the establishment. Well, that's because he is. He always was. He always was. That's his background. But you can't hold that against him. Winston Churchill was part of the establishment. I mean, you've seen where he lived, Blenheim Palace. Did you see that programme last night where they stole the golden toilet? What a fantastic programme. I read about it in the papers recently. There was an art exhibition, load of arty-farty nonsense there with Tracy Emin and people. But somebody also made the toilet all out of gold. These lads broke in and nicked it. It was worth over £1 million. They reckon he melted it down. But it was like an old-fashioned heist story. Brilliant. But that's where Winston Churchill lived as a kid. So don't tell me you can't vote for Farage because he's part of the establishment. That's what politics is, my friend, I'm afraid. But I wouldn't hold that against him. Judge him on what he does. Because as I say, there are things that Farage comes out with that I don't agree with. But if I had to make a sheet of paper with all the different options on, I know who'd win every time. My vote, Farage. And I haven't been one of these people who jumped on Farage right from the beginning, have I? I was anti him at the beginning. I really was. But no, I'm now pro him. Freedom of speech is dead now. Not here. We can say whatever we want, unless I don't like it. Give them hell, John. You are majestic in full flow. Oh, thank you very much. I must tell my wife I was called majestic today. Do you know what? When I came out of that hospital today, I felt majestic. I felt bloody brilliant because the doctor, she's a consultant. And as I say, she's East European, a bit punky looking she is. And she just inspired me. The first thing she said, oh, that's nice. You got a big smile on your face, John. I said, yeah, well, yeah, I am. I'm happy. She said, that makes me happy too. She said, I see too many patients who are depressed. I said, well, it's a bit depressing coming here. She said, not for you today. Everything's great. Checked all your bloods, done all your things. Everything is A-OK. Probably means I'll snuff it next week. And I tell you what, because I've had a few friends who've just passed away, as you know, one of my greatest friends just passed away, and I've also got two other friends who are now seriously ill. I was getting to that thing, oh, well, you're 64. You tell me if this has happened to you. You'll be next, John. And I think I was getting into a little bit of a downward spiral. We all can do it. But I've come back today feeling fantastic. And nothing's going to get in my way. You watch what's going to happen with this program over the next few months. That's not convinced you. No one's donated still. Thanks a lot, guys. Dave Griffin, it's not blanking out for us, John. Thanks, Dave, for telling me. So that's only at this end that it goes blank. Oh, well, let me just do it now, Dave, and tell me if it does it now. Has it gone blank now? It says, keep putting the comments and the names up, Dave Griffin. And there's a little picture of a boy. I presume that's either your son or you when you were a kid, Dave. Tell me. I can see that, but I can't see me. I can see me now with this one with Nigel Gordon. Politics have been bent since day one or day dot, says Nigel. You're right. I don't know why that's doing that. Dark Angel's late. She says, hi, John. And that's really apt because Dark Angel is just a black. All I've got is a blank screen. It's good with your name being that. And who have we got next? No, all good, says Dave Griffin. So it's working for Dave. Okay, it's just a fault at this end. I'll get it looked at. I'll get my highly trained technical team to have a look at it, which roughly translated means I'll turn the effing computer off and turn it back on again, and it'll probably work. Right, have I said everything I want to say? I think I probably have. Let me just make sure, because I made a few notes tonight, which I don't normally do, but I wanted to. So it's the NHS. It's the cost of living. I can't believe the price of everything. Bought some sausages in my favourite butcher's today. When she told me the price, I said, I only want the sausages. I don't want shares. Mass immigration, I've had it up to here. NHS collapse, and we've been betrayed by the establishment parties. If Farage doesn't win, it'll only be because he's found in bed with the choir boys from Westminster Abbey or something, or some other big sex scandal. Because logically, he's saying what we all want to know, all believe. Me as a kid, says Dave Griffin. Oh, that picture. You were a cute little kid, Dave. I wonder if you look like that now. I doubt it. I'm going back to this one, Musical Man. Give them hell, John. You are majestic in full flow. You're not coming on to me, are you, Musical Man? I don't mind if you are, because I'm quite safe in my sexuality, but it's nice when somebody says something nice. Somebody else said something nice the other day. Because we're always too busy arguing, aren't we? And people say, yeah, I agree with you or whatever. But sometimes, was a lady who said, you really cheer up my days. I look forward to seeing you, John. Thank you very much. I have to see if my mother-in-law or my wife could follow your advice. So, Farage will be the next Prime Minister. I'm stopping now, have you noticed? He will be our next Prime Minister. What do you think? What do you think? You can always get in touch with me after the show via YouTube, or you can email me, or you can come on Facebook or Twitter or X as it's called. Dark Angels. I see now we've got £120 million to Sudan. Thanks, David Lammer. Yeah, I saw that, Dark. Well, what the hell are we giving them money for? They were trying to convince me on the radio. I was listening to Jeremy Wine on radio too. I haven't listened to him for ages. And he had somebody on there saying, yeah, what people don't understand is Sudan, yeah, we were like a colonial power because it gave us access to Egypt and Suez. I thought, hang on, that's a bit of a stretch, isn't it? We can't still be responsible, can we? A musical man says, you are safe, John. Lol. Thank you very much indeed. Commiserations to the mighty Sky Blues. We should have beat Hull last night. We got a draw, so it's not the end of the world. And Bruce, if you're listening, my mate, he's had an operation on his nose. I hope you're feeling better, and we're nearly at a stage where we can go out and have a drink, and I'm not going to be panicking every time you sneeze and putting a rain mac over my face. Why do noses bleed so much? There's a question you can ponder until we speak again. Thank you very much. Really enjoyed it. Got to go. I've been cooking all afternoon, ever since I got back from Leamington. Oh, since you ask, it's pork and fennel ragu. Why people buy ready meals is beyond me. Some pork mince, few onions, red onions, I like, a load of garlic, right? A load of garlic. Then what did I put in? I put in fennel. That is quite expensive, the fennel. It's got to be said, but you don't need too much. Or you can just put fennel seeds in. 1 can of tomatoes. I had a bit of red wine at the end of a bottle. That went in as well. Whack it on. Let it all cook up for a couple of hours. Have it with some pasta. Dark Angel says, I thought we had no money. Lol. Are you not talking about my cooking, are you, Dark Angel? Oh, no, you're talking about Sudan. Yeah, I don't understand how we can make pensioners freeze to death, right? But still give millions of pounds to other countries. I always thought charity began at home. Coventry and Lucky John, what game were you watching? Oh, you think Hull were better than Coventry? You had one player who was better than us. Your goalie was outstanding. So we'll have to buy him as ours is injured. But otherwise, come off it. We were much better. We were easily the better side. Huh? Please, take off your rose-tinted glasses. Huh? I know you haven't got much to shout about in Hull. And before you say anything, my parents came from there and I lived there after being in care. So I do know Hull. In fact, I really like it. I've got a soft spot for Hull. I really have. It's called the Humber Estuary. Anyway, that's me done. I'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Hopefully more donations. buymeabeer.com/Jon Gaunt. Or you can do it, buy me a coffee. Or you can get on YouTube and help me out. Either way, get on with it. Steve says, I'm winding you up, John. I'm Leeds United. Don't you rub it in. I mean, Leeds are brilliant, aren't they? Compared to the rest of the teams in the league, you're going to go far. Huh? And the thing is, you'll start wearing those little things on your socks again. Do you remember that with the Revy Revolution? You started wearing those tags with tassels on. Bunch of ponces. Hey, mind you, it was the age of glam rock, wasn't it? It was the age. And when I say ponces, I don't mean homosexuals. I'm not anti-gay. Before you start on that one. Unbelievable. Had that today. Some liberal comes on, right? I said on Twitter, what did I say? I said, what we need is Starmer to really look after and sort out the girls. You know, I've got to be careful how I say this. The girls and the grooming. And this guy, and I said, you know, because they're Pakistani Muslims. And he said, no, they're not. This guy came back, he said, majority of rapists in this country are white, you racist, so. And I said, no, I know that. I know the majority. And do you know why? It's because the majority of people who live in the country are white. So therefore, it will be white majority if you're using just base statistics like that. However, I wasn't talking about general rape. I was talking about the industrial rape of young girls. Even the Prime Minister admits it's a problem with a certain community. Even Keir Starmer, king of diversity, rainbow laces. But this guy wanted just to sort of stitch me up or try and make out I'm a racist. They do it all the time. They do it with Farage. I ain't no racist. I think racism is dumb and thick. But I don't like people taking the piss out of our country. I don't like that. But that isn't racism because they're all different races, aren't they? Hey? Beer time, says Dark Angel. Good girl. Behave, John, says Steve. All right, then. I'm off. I'm off from your ragu. I'll tell you about it tomorrow. Until then, if you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Hey, don't forget to tell them you love them. See ya.